Hey Durtbagz, Erin, head bag lady, coming at you with the second installment of Books in my Durtbagz. Told you I was gonna do it, right? I bet most of you checked back just to see if I would, and I am. Anyway, like I said, this week's book, Wigfield. In a word, this is probably the funniest book I've ever read. It was given to me for my birthday a couple years back by somebody that knows me pretty well and kind of has my same sense of humor, and thought I would enjoy it, and yeah, I did. Let me just read you a couple reviews here off the back. To me, Wigfield is a deeply funny, refreshingly original book, but to be fair, it is the first book I've ever read. That's by Mr. John Stewart. Also, my idol has a quote on here. As a fake news anchor, I can say with some authority that Wigfield is a truly fine work of fraudulent journalism. That was Miss Tina Fey when she was on Weekend Update. Anyway, why is Wigfield so funny? Well, first off, it's written by Amy Sedaris, some other guy, and Stephen Colbert. I mean, really? Yeah. Can you handle it? The story itself is about a guy who quits his job of painting lines on the highway, and by quits I mean gets fired, and becomes a writer, and somehow manages to get some kind of advance to write a story about the town of Wigfield, which really isn't even actually a town at all. It's just where a bunch of people live on land that is toxic and below a dam that is going to be torn down. So the whole thing is about saving Wigfield, the not real town that is toxic. And the writer goes to Wigfield and he stays with the people and he interviews them, including its 3 mayors, and it's just odd. And by odd I mean super weird, and of course super weird is very funny. It's written like how someone would speak, or at least someone who's not quite right would speak. And I want to read you my favorite excerpt because I think it will give you an idea of why it's so funny. At least why I think it's funny, which means that it is funny. Okay, here we go. Fear is a funny thing. If that's true, why aren't I laughing? I have a growing anxiety which, like a ravenous blue jay, has been picking at my brain, as if my skull has been hollowed out, painted to resemble a miniature church, hung from a tree limb, and loaded with seed. Until now, my tactic in combating this dread has not been to acknowledge it, to keep it locked up so tightly inside me that it can't get any air and will suffocate on my self-control. But keeping feelings bottled up is like holding an angry tiger by the tail. Unless you hold on tight, he'll kill you. Metaphorically. Realistically, if you have a tiger by the tail, he'll kill you whether you hold on or not. In fact, if you hold his tail, he'll probably find you quicker. All he has to do is follow his body down to the end of his tail, and there you are. But not for long. Sure, technically you might be able to continue holding onto the tail while he's gnawing on your skull, but that's merely muscle reflex. I mean, let's face it, once the head leaves the body, you aren't doing much of anything. I guess my point is, don't touch tigers' tails. They don't like it. Awesome! Who writes like that? It's like I wrote this book to myself. I love it. And also why I love it? It's short. There's pictures. When's the last time you read a book with pictures? As a grown-up? Probably not for a while. Also, the interviews are really funny. At one point he interviews himself, which is good. And there's also a fake resume in here and a fake pamphlet on the dam, including fun facts. Here's a fun fact. If all the copper wiring used in the Bookz dam were laid end to end, it would reach less than an inch. There is no copper wire in the Bookz dam. Now you know. Oh, okay, here's a good one. If the Bookz dam was mechanically animated and fitted with a giant robot brain, it would successfully conquer the planet, forcing enslaved humans to work in its vast network of zinc mines. I mean, you really don't want to read this book? What's wrong with you? Yes, you want to read it. If you could reach through this video right now and grab it, you would. Anyway, Wigfield gets 9 out of 4 stars. It rules. Pick it up, read it. Love it. That's the book review for this week. Shameless plug. Check out Durtbagz bags. and Durtbagz t-shirts at durtbagz.com. Also, there's a new sign coming out next week, the triathlon sign. Killed it on the blog. Thank you all for voting. If you didn't, you suck. I will see you guys next week with, I'm not sure what book it's going to be yet. It'll be a surprise. Okay, smell you later.